All right, welcome back everyone. This is Josh Wallet and I'm here talking again about the market machine, which is an Excel-based tool that appraisers are using to generate market charts and graphs for their market analysis and market analysis support, as well as a regression model tool. So appraisers can build their own regression models using their own local data, usually from their MLS. So let's go ahead and take a look. Let me clear out of this. And basically what you do to start up the demo, because I've had a lot of requests for a demo rather than using their own live data. They want to kind of get a feel for it first. You just navigate to where it's saved on your computer. So it's an Excel file. We're going to just double click like we would to open any other file on your computer. And if it gives you any sort of warnings up here to enable content, we're going to click there to enable the content. That takes just a second depending on your machine. You can see now I'm ready to go. So we want to first start off by looking and making sure some of this information on the Control tab, look at the navigation down here, is correct. The current year is 2016. These are the dates of my data. Obviously, those aren't today's dates. This is not the end date we would normally have if we were doing it through today, but the sample data that is loaded in the demo has those end dates. So we're going to want to make sure these are the dates in our demo in this case. And you'll notice it's a 2-year period. The market machine is designed to take a look and analyze and crunch numbers over 24 months. I've always found this useful. That's why I designed it this way, because you can take a look at seasonal changes rather than limiting your analysis to simply 12 months, which may not always be useful. I want to take a quick look at these other tabs over here. You can see I can move around to different tabs using these arrows. Yours might look a little different depending on your machine, depending on your computer. We can look at About Market Machine, and it tells you a little bit about it. And there's all sorts of videos that you can link to watch demonstrations of using the market machine. There's also regression help. So there's other videos here that you can take a look at. And there's step-by-step instructions relating to the regression and some reminders on what all these things mean when we're taking a look at the regression model. But remember, the market machine is not just about regression. A lot of appraisers actually like it mainly for its market analysis, all the charts and graphs and narrative and statistics that it comes up with by crunching the numbers that you can then use in your reports for your support. So those are these first few tabs. Again, back to the Control tab. Normally, you would import your raw data. But you can see it gives us a warning here because we're not importing any data. This is the demo version. It already has some of my MLS data built into it that you can use to test the demo. What we would do is move the filtered data to the reports, but let me show you another step. When you bring in this raw data, it's going to bring you right to the Raw Data tab. Now this is all 6,853 entries that I've brought in. It's 24 months of sales from my MLS, and it's also all of the current active, pending, and under contract listings as of the date that I exported the data from my MLS. I don't want to analyze 6,500 items. I need to narrow it down, okay? So you can either export just a small amount from your MLS that you want to analyze, or you can export everything from your MLS periodically, maybe once a week or every 2 weeks, maybe once a month if you think that's frequently enough. And then you can filter it every time you go in, and it will actually save what your last search was. So I know my MLS. I don't want condos, that's the code for condo. I don't want townhomes, that's the code for townhomes. This is the code for single family. It will look different on your market machine because your MLS is going to be a little different. But all I'm doing is filtering the data, just like you would in your MLS. So I'm going to apply some filters here. I want site builds. I want to look only at the Southeast Grand Junction area. My MLS is a little quirky. It has rented lot as one field. I want no. I don't want it to be a rented lot. And then it also has another one that says if there's real estate included, and yes, I want real estate included. So I'm going to choose those. Now I'm dealing with only, you can see here, 567 entries. So if I want a study on the entire Southeast Grand Junction area, this is the filter that I would want to put on it. So I'm going to go ahead and do that for this example using this demo data. And when you get the demo, you're going to have this same data set. So you can go ahead also and choose the property type column, choose the how built column, choose the area column, the rented lot column, and the real estate included column. You notice most of the filters that I might add later on are all to the left of the data, right? If I scroll over, I have all sorts of other data that I exported from the MLS, but I'm really most interested in all these over on the left. That way, when I'm going to filter for a specific segment, maybe I'm doing an MC study later, I'm not having to scroll all over here and look at things. I have pretty much everything I'll need for most searches, like the year built, acres, total approximate square footage. Again, these columns are going to be different. They're going to have different labels based on your MLS. But you're using a demo, so let's kind of get to know that data a little bit. I've filtered it how I want it, or I just left it how I imported it from the MLS export. And now I'm just going to click that button we saw earlier, Move Filtered Data to Reports. And it tells me it moved it to the standard reports and it moved it to the regression tabs. It's going to just ask you to click OK twice. And let's look at some of these green reports. Go to the green tabs. Okay, here's your criteria. You can review it here. Make sure all of this is what you wanted to search by. And now, if any of you do relocation work, you'll notice the standard relocation form has a section that looks a bit like this. So this can help some of you, but I find it useful even on non-relocation reports. So we're looking back 2 years, that's the oldest date. Here's the most recent date for the data as we've typed it in. Okay, so you can see the median sale price has moved from 158, about 175, and we have mean over here. You can take a look at how days on market have changed over time, how the sold price per square foot has changed, median and again mean. You can also take a look here and take a look at seasons. So this is the winter season, or part of the winter season. Here's the corresponding season 12 months earlier. It's obviously increased, hasn't it? You can do the same for the previous quarter. That's increased. It was 170 in the most recent of that period, from March to June. What was it the previous March to June? Okay, so again, it has increased. So we're seeing maybe an increasing market. We'll take a look at some other charts and graphs. The 1004MC addendum. You'll notice it has all of the sales information filled out for you. It has all the actives as of that last date, as of 0 days ago, which is the correct way to fill out the MC form, according to the Fannie Mae instructions for this form. And you'll notice here, it does not have the previous period's actives filled in. And that's because in almost every instance I've ever seen for what you can export from your MLS, you typically cannot properly fill out the prior periods of actives in terms of getting the right number that were active on those dates, the actual list price as of those dates, and things like this. So those are blank, and Fannie Mae allows you to leave them blank. I would encourage you to take a look, even if your MLS has a built-in system for the MC form. I've actually seen some that complete them incorrectly. So know what you're doing on that. But this is going to help you fill it out. And it has some other information related to the MC form. You have some narrative for seller concessions and REOs, some statistical sentences. Of course, you want to wrap it up with a few summary sentences of your own at least. Okay, let's take a look at some of these prettier charts here. Okay, these are a little better looking than the MC form. They're a little bit more understandable, and they're covering 24 months. Okay, these are quarters here. Here's 4 quarters, and there's 8 quarters. Most recent, there's 24 months ago. We have to the right actives, pendings, and actives plus pending. Okay, and you can see this is the number of sales. This is the number of sales on what you filtered. Okay, so if you are looking at the entire Southeast Grand Junction area, that's what this is talking about. If you filtered by square footage, by acreage, by other criteria, because maybe you're doing what would be a comparable search or an MC search, then this would look different. But it's going to complete this based on what you filter. Okay? Talks about REOs and short sales, how those have either increased or decreased over time. You can see there's a summary based on each year. So there were 4 short sales the prior year. The most recent year had 5. We moved from 15 REO sales to 12 REO sales. And you can see there's some trend lines there. There's some percentage of overall sales. How have those moved? We were in 15 to 20% of the sales were REO and short, and now we're closer to 5 to 10%, although we had a spike, it looks like, real recently. So we can kind of scroll through. We can see how REO and short sale prices relate to the median. We can take a look at 0 and 1 year old properties, so this might give you an indication about new construction going on. Concessions information. And then we get into the sale price. Okay, we can actually adjust the chart, kind of expand it if it's just visually more understandable to expand it. The low is at the bottom of the line. The high is at the top of the line for each of these monthly statistical indicators here. We have the 25th percentile at the bottom of the box, 75th at the top of the box, and the 50th or the median in the middle there. And we have some statistical trend lines placed in there. You can look by month in this middle section, or you can look by quarter. Here's the median and the highs and lows for each quarter. And then you can also compare it annually. Okay, so depending on what type of market you're in, you may want to look at it monthly. You may want to look at it quarterly. You may want to look at it annually, depending on your market, how many sales, and so on. You're the market expert. We're going to leave it up to you, but these are the numbers for you to be able to analyze your market a bit more quickly than manually pulling all of this data and calculating it yourself. Okay, trend in the sale price divided by square foot, the trend in the days on market, the property age, sell to list price, the final and then the original. We have acres, bedrooms. These last two you can actually choose when you order your market machine. You can choose what indicators you want on these last two. I'm just going to scroll back up to the top, and let's move to the next report, which is the summary report. This is a lot of text. Okay, I'm going to get this a little bit bigger. So here's the sentence. You can actually grab this, copy this, and put it into your report. This is the sentence of criteria, so you don't have to retype it. Here are price and age ranges in terms of low, median, and high. Here's the low, median, and high for the sales over the last 12 months. You could, of course, go back here and manually look at what your highs and lows were over the 24 months, even if you wanted to. Look at your highs over 24 months, look at your lows over 24 months. But this summary page is going to cover over the past 12 months. And what it's doing here is helping you fill in the neighborhood section on page 1 of most lending forms. So if you've conducted a search of the entire market area or the entire neighborhood, and you believe this is the information you need for highs and lows, then go ahead and use this on page 1. Okay? The next items on this summary page are a range of the listings, the active listings, and the sales that have sold in the past 12 months. You'll recognize these sentences. They are at the top of the sales grid on page 2 of lending forms. So you can, if you've conducted your search, and again, if you've put in filters that you believe are the comparables or the MC type search, then this may be useful to completing the top of page 2 for you. And it's sort of done the homework for you based on the data you've put in this and filtered out. Now, obviously, you can see here, I've left it as the entire market area. This is not something I'm going to type at the top of page 2. But when I go back to my raw data tab down here, and I search by square footage, and I search by age, and I search by site size, and I narrow it down to what I believe are my comparables, then this report will be helpful for me to complete the top of page 2. And it's done that crunching for you. You don't have to go research, well, what was the high, what was the low, how many were, it has it right here for you, okay? It has information on prices, days on market, sales information, seller concessions, and we also have sell to ask ratio information here. One of the great shortcuts that is built into the market machine, and purposely did it this way, is up here it gives you some shortcuts. What you can do is you can actually grab multiple sentences and pieces of information here all at once, and then you can paste it into your software. So these I consider as sort of sentence starters or narrative starters. I'm by no means telling you to just simply take these sentences, paste it into your report, and then leave your report. But they are statistically valuable, statistically rich sentences that are going to be able to support your trend conclusions and your market conclusions. So then you can sum up these sentences in a few sentences of your own. Okay, and let me show you what I mean. It tells you here, just press Control-E to empty out your clipboard, and then I'm going to use this Control-Q feature. Okay, I'm just going to click on what I want, press Control-Q, I just did, and I let go of it. And I'm just going to grab other sentences, Control-Q, let go, Control-Q, let go, and so on. I'm just grabbing some random ones for demonstrating. So all I'm doing is Control-Q, let go, and then I move on and click another sentence. And what I can do is simply go in and paste it into my appraisal form. I just used Control-V, which is the standard paste command in Windows. Okay, and I'm going to paste that way. I can just right-click and paste. Okay, obviously I wouldn't be pasting it into a Word document normally. Normally I would be pasting this into my appraisal software. But that's a real quick way of grabbing some narrative starters, which are statistically rich sentences that I can then sum up rather than manually typing all of this information and then summing it up. Okay? The next tab is the newest tab. So we have the resale analysis or resale identification. Now I want to tell you first, I changed all the street numbers in the data, so this is not actually sharing any sort of confidential information. So these aren't real sales anymore. Okay, the street numbers are changed. What this is going to do is it's going to look for repeats in your data. So I have it searching by street number and street name. You could change that if you wanted, but that generally works. I'm just going to click Fill Resales, and what it's going to do is it's going to scrub through all of that data, and you can see it just refreshed it. We can take a look at this one. 3002 is the address. We can take a look at it. Of course, that's not the real address, obviously. It sold in August of 14 for approximately $206,000, and then it resold in July of 2015 for $228,000. The MLS doesn't indicate any year remodeled, but that's, you know, the agent may have not put in a year remodeled. It's showing that both of them were arm's length or non-REO or non-short sales. And I have the MLS number here referenced, so I can go research it on my own and see, were these truly arm's length sales? Were there changes to the physical property? Did they update the kitchens, bathrooms, update flooring, reside the house? Did they make any changes that would explain the change in sale price? Or is it simply that it is an increasing market? So when we take a look at the HUD handbook, which is actually a pretty good resource for discussion of what do we mean by increasing or decreasing markets. There's actually very few resources out there that discuss what is meant by increasing or decreasing. What they discuss are a variety of things, but one of them being resales. And so this is going to help you spot resales in your market area. So if you're just running a generic report on your entire market areas once a week, you can find all of the resales that are in each area, and that may help you with your trend conclusions. Okay, I'm going to stop there, and we're going to, in the next demo video, take a look at the regression and the prediction tabs, as well as how to print all of this information and all of these charts to PDF, which can then be attached to your appraisal reports right in your software. Thanks so much, and just go ahead and click on that next demo video.